Ladies and gentlemen, the following podcast is set for one episode. Your host from Columbus, Ohio, is Michael Kirk. Welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast. Hello and welcome to the Outlaw Mudcast, your digital audio dirt sheet for all things Super Show. This is going to be kind of a weird show because normally I'd start off with what I think is the big story from this week, but I think the big story from this week is going to be the Project Spider update that's happening tonight as I record this. I'm recording this on Sunday, September 7th. Shortly before this episode is published, we're going to have Sunday night fights and we're going to have the big Project Spider updates. So I'll have to tack all of that onto the end of the show. Normally that's what I'd start off with because that has implications for what's going to be eligible to be played at Grand Gathering. There are going to be some major changes in this Project Spider update that I'll touch on when I get to that part, but this is going to be a big Project Spider update that's coming. I actually had an interview earlier in the week with one of the Project Spider members, Bob Dunn. That interview will be released about a day or so after this episode is released. We wanted to wait for the Project Spider update to be public before the interview came out. So look forward to that. Right now, though, I think I'll start off with the Dragon Con results I couldn't get you last week. Here were the results that came in after last week's episode was published. There was a defense of the LFF Tornado Tag Team Championship. The challenger, Dr. Pollywood, challenging with sweet innuendos. The champion, Nick Nemesis, champion with kitty corn. The match ends up going to Crowd Meter 1. The winner, still champion, Nick Nemesis. Congratulations to him for a successful defense. He will not be at Grand Gathering 5, so the next defense of the LFF Tornado Tag Team Championship will be sometime after Grand Gathering 5. For the Sunday night Dragon Con tournament, I don't have a lot of information about this. I can give you the top 4. So in the third place match, we had Bob Dunn as leader of the Black Sheep versus Lauren Santiago as Alex Kane in a Ring of Fire match, with Lauren Santiago taking third place. In the finals of the Dragon Con Championship Tournament, we had Allie Johnson playing as Tara versus Matthias, son of Zeus, playing as the Masked Llama. This was a steel cage match. It doesn't go past Crowd Meter 0. The winner escaping the cage at Crowd Meter 0, Dragon Con World Championship Tournament winner, Allie Johnson. Congratulations to Allie Johnson for winning the big Dragon Con tournament. The next big thing I have to talk about, and it's really a lot of little things, there is a bunch of updates about things that are going to be happening at Grand Gathering 5. I'm just going to give them to you in no particular order. I'll start with one related to the Tornado Tag Team Championship match I just talked about. Because there will not be a defense of that championship at Grand Gathering 5, instead there will be a contender match as a featured match at Grand Gathering 5. Matt Nealon, the Pineapple Champion, the Headband Champion, will use the Tornado Tag Team featuring him and Funtime Bob, Double the Fun, and he will take on Sam Torres. Sam Torres playing as the Betrayal, with the winner getting a future shot at the LFF Tornado Tag Team Championship. Keeping it going, we have news about the LFF World Heavyweight Championship, currently held by the prize fighter Simon Dabner. He will be defending against the Star Maker Everett Stevens at Grand Gathering 5. His former fellow faction mate in Star Maker Productions is going to be his challenger. The prize fighter Simon Dabner apparently has left Star Maker Productions because of this. That match is going to be a huge match at Grand Gathering 5. Switching gears with Grand Gathering 5 news, going away from championship news, we have information about the 5 major events that will be at Grand Gathering 5. Of course, there are going to be pop-ups, drafts, other smaller events going on throughout the weekend. This doesn't include a potential Thursday night fights if SRG Universe gets access to the place-based Thursday night. This doesn't count any of that. This is just the major events, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to have the Grand Battle, which we knew about. We're going to have the Old School Create a Competitor Tournament, which we knew about. There's going to be a tag team event. That is a new announcement. There's going to be a singles event, open division. All singles competitors legal, subject to 2020 vision. And there's going to be a Super Show Scramble event. Players in this event will need to have a singles deck, a Tornado Tag Team deck, and a Trios deck. Players in this event will need to be prepared to play all 3 different competitors, to be able to play a singles competitor, a Tornado Tag Team competitor, and a Trios competitor. We don't have an official schedule for day and time these events are going to happen. We know that Grand Battle is going to be Saturday. We know that it's going to be earlier than it was originally going to be because there's going to be the watch party for wrestling on Saturday night. So Grand Battle will be earlier in the day than the watch party for WrestlePalooza. They might show the AEW All-In event. I don't know. WrestlePalooza from WWE almost assuredly will be shown. With Grand Battle starting earlier, I suspect that the event that will happen before Grand Battle will be the Old School Create a Competitor Tournament. What makes sense to me is Friday will have the tag team event during the day, the singles event at night. Saturday we'll have the Old School Create a Competitor Tournament, followed by the Grand Battle. And then Sunday will be the Super Show Scramble. I know they've done Super Show Scramble events like this on Sundays before, so that just kind of makes the most sense. This is unofficial. This is just me looking at the events and trying to figure out what makes the most sense. Speaking of the events, we've had some information about the potential stipulations for the Old School Create a Competitor Tournament. We're going to likely have old school themed stipulations. We could see, for example, an old school steel cage match. The difference, potentially a larger hand size. It might be max hand size 8 instead of max hand size 6. We might see an old school steel chain match. Those are some things to keep in mind regarding the old school event if you're planning on participating. I also mentioned just a little bit ago the watch party. During the watch party, there is going to be a special guest. Wrestling-related special guest, from what I can tell. That special guest has not been announced. We just know that that guest will be there Saturday night during the watch party. Regarding new releases at Grand Gathering 5, we may see, again, this is all subject to change. It depends if the cards come in on time. We should see the new Grand Pack Wave 3 sets release at Grand Gathering 5. We may also see new Ikuzo cards. Ikuzo card re-releases and new cards, again, depending on whether or not the shipment can arrive on time at Grand Gathering 5. Back to some Grand Gathering 5 Championship news. Split, the general manager of the Play True Championship, has announced that he will be bringing the belt to Grand Gathering 5, and the belt will be defended during Grand Gathering 5 as a 24/7 championship. This is the championship you would play for using a competitor that you created or that is based on your wrestling persona. We've had news regarding the LFF Hardcore Championship. That championship will be defended potentially 3 times at Grand Gathering 5. The opening match will be the current hardcore champion, the Italian Mambata, taking on challenger, the Misfit, in a ladder match. That's going to happen on Friday. On Saturday, there's going to be a Ring of Fire match for the championship. The challenger in that match, the Tartan Terror. And Sunday, there will be a Derby dog collar match for the LFF Hardcore Championship. The challenger there, General Lee Wong. Now, what I do not know is if all these matches are happening regardless of who is the champion going into each match, or if they're only happening if the Italian Mambata successfully defends all 3 times. So I know, for example, if the Italian Mambata retains Friday, he'll play Saturday. If he retains Saturday, he'll play Sunday. That was made perfectly clear in the announcement from the champion, the Italian Mambata. What was not made clear is, if he loses Friday, does the new champion, the Misfit, defend on Saturday against the Tartan Terror? If that happens, whoever wins the Saturday match, whether it's the Misfit or the Tartan Terror, does that person defend on Sunday? That I don't know. I would suspect yes, but we will have to see. That's the Grand Gathering 5 news I have for you right now. I expect we'll have some more Grand Gathering news as part of the Project Spider announcement at the end of the show. Other things that I want to bring up, other stories. I'd mentioned on previous shows that they were talking about, SRG Universe was talking about stipulation pools for particular time periods. So, for example, from, say, September 1st until December 31st, any events being run at a convention, online, things like that, that all of those events, if they're using stipulations in the top cut, the stipulations would come from a particular pool. They have announced the initial pool, which I would say is live right now. First off, there are 3 stipulations that will always be possibilities in events. These will never cycle out of being stipulations you could encounter. Those 3 stipulations are the main event stipulation, the no disqualification stipulation, and the dark match stipulation. Those will always be potential stipulations in official Super Show events run by SRG Universe. For this particular period, the stipulations that have been added to the pool that you may see in addition to the 3 I just mentioned are Ring of Fire, Steel Chair, Steel Chain, and Steel Cage. So, for example, if you're going to Grand Gathering, in events where there will be stipulations like the Singles Open event, potentially the Old School Create a Competitor tournament, you may see in the main event stipulation, dark match, no disqualification, steel cage, steel chair, steel chain, Ring of Fire. With the Old School, you may see Old School variations of those. But those are the stipulations you should prepare for. Now, tournament organizers reserve the right to use their own stipulations. They are not bound by what's on this list. So I mentioned Misomania just a little bit ago. If at Misomania they decide they don't want to use these stipulations, they can announce that they will be using other stipulations. That is fine. This is not a hard and fast stipulation pool. This is just a general stipulation pool. But I would expect any events run by SRG Universe at conventions or online will use this stipulation pool. I have a little Kickstarter news. The Kickstarter fulfillment for Super Lucha is supposed to be underway. I have not heard about anyone receiving the product yet, but it's supposed to be happening now. They're supposed to be working on fulfilling those. There's also an option if you would like to pick yours up at Grand Gathering 5 instead of having it mailed to you. You can reach out to SRG Universe and make that request. I'm not sure if they want that through Facebook Messenger or email. I would probably try both if you want to pick it up at Grand Gathering 5 rather than having it mailed to you. I am not sure at this point which method would be quicker. If they've already started mailing them out, I imagine the Postal Service will be faster. But if they haven't, who knows? I don't know which one is going to be faster delivery. This is for the Super Lucha Kickstarter only. For the comic book Kickstarter, we'll have to see. Fulfillment on that should start soon, but no official announcement has been made. And sticking on the Kickstarter subject, we haven't received an update on when the major wrestling-themed box set is going to hit Kickstarter. I expect it to be later this month, but who knows? We'll have to see. Brief Super Show Olympics update. The final round of the Super Show Olympics is live right now. Teams had to send in their deck lists last Saturday. Those are done. 2 teams are in contention for the gold medal. Hold the Line Harry's team and the Goat Brock Smith's team. I don't have any results to report yet, but the Olympics should be wrapped up this time next week. So the Super Show Olympics should be done before Grand Gathering 5. I have an update regarding the Trios Tag Team event. This was the tag team event where both members of the tag team, instead of using singles competitors, used trios competitors. We've reached the semifinal round of this joint tournament held by the Titan Bombada, the Trios General Manager, and Candy Ma'am, the Tag Team General Manager. In the first semifinal match, we have the Collector Sean Loeb and the Big Guy taking on the Cheetah and Eddie Fury. In the second semifinal match, we have Steven Overlock and Le Penguin taking on Ron Rumble and Elder Dan. Those are the semifinal matchups. The deadline to complete the semifinal round is September 21st, the last day of Grand Gathering 5. That is the news I have for you this week, outside of the online tournaments, featured matches, and of course the Project Spider update. So let's go through those. I'll start Monday night with Monday Night Fights. 6 players in this Monday Night Fight tournament. There were 4 bullet rounds, and after the bullet rounds, they cut to a top 4. There was a finals match and a third place match. Both matches used the steel cage stipulation. The top 4 were in 4th place, playing as HR herself. In 3rd place, playing as Jean-Dre, the gigantic Grenoble, Zach Ashley. In 2nd place, playing as Sticky, the Salamander Sailboat, the Chosen One, Colby Cram. And the winner of Monday Night Fights, playing as the plant-based bruiser, Nathan Wood. Congratulations to Nathan Wood for winning Monday Night Fights. Wednesday, after Talk of the Universe, one of the matches in Rowdy Ron's 6-stop invitational tournament was played. This was a 2 out of 3 falls match. In this match, we had Rambo Apocalypse playing as Mr. Rumble, taking on the SRG Boss, playing as Evil Ed, the Cheesehead. Both of these were standard singles matches. The first fall does not go past crowd meter 0. The winner, Rambo Apocalypse. The second fall also does not go past crowd meter 0. The winner, Rambo Apocalypse. No need for a third fall. Rambo Apocalypse takes his match in this round of the 6-stop tournament. Later on, Wednesday night, on the Big Picture Premium Twitch channel, we have a Deep South Tag Team Championship match. The challengers, Kang Trell, Possum Kang playing as the new version of Theo the Greek Neo. The Starbreaker, Trey Cantrell, playing as Player of the Era. The Champions, Ironic. Rowdy Ron playing as Rowdy Ron. Nick Nimble playing as the Italian Bambata. This match ends up going to Crowd Meter 1. The winners, new Deep South Tag Team Champions, Cantrell. Congratulations to Cantrell for winning the Deep South Tag Team Championship. Thursday, we have Chibi's Thursday Night Fights, an Underworld Division event. 12 players. They play 3 bullet rounds, and after those rounds, they cut to a top 7. That means there were 3 matches in the quarterfinal round, and 1 player got a bye directly into the semifinals. In the quarterfinal round, all of the matches were New York Rules matches. The semifinal round matches were Beast Unchained matches. The third place match and the finals match were Beast Unchained matches. Your top 4 were, in 4th place, playing as Father Light, Eddie Fury. In 3rd place, playing as Jigsaw, Mike Benton. In 2nd place, playing the Latin Lover, Swindle Heat, Ricky Riot. And the winner of Chibi's Thursday Night Fights, playing as Jean-Dre, the Gigantic Grenoble, Zach Ashley. Congratulations to Zach Ashley for winning Chibi's Thursday Night Fights. Sunday, we had Sunday Night Fights. Only 1 match on the match card for Sunday Night Fights. A match for the LFF Tri-State Championship. The challenger, the hidden threat Matt Haas, playing as Sabu. The champion, El Hombre Cybernetico, champion as El Hombre Cybernetico. This was a relatively short match, maybe about 20 minutes, give or take. It's a New York Rules match, like all LFF Tri-State Championship matches are. It starts at Crowd Meter 1. It goes to Crowd Meter 2. The winner at Crowd Meter 2, still champion, El Hombre Cybernetico. Congratulations to El Hombre Cybernetico for a successful defense. Now, El Hombre Cybernetico will not be at Grand Gathering 5. So, the general manager for the LFF Tri-State Singles Division, John Polverino, has made the following announcement. There's going to be an interim LFF Tri-State Championship match at Grand Gathering 5. The winner of that match will become the interim LFF Tri-State Champion, and he will have a match against the LFF Tri-State Champion, El Hombre Cybernetico. Both of them will be able to use the championship belt card for their entrance card. The winner will end up becoming the undisputed LFF Tri-State Champion. I don't really understand the need to crown an interim champion. Grand Gathering 5 is 2 weekends away, less than 2 weeks from the time I'm recording this. You could just have a number 1 contender match. I don't see the need to crown an interim champion. I think it's a little silly to do that. But that is the plan from the general manager. There's been an update regarding the Super Lucha Kickstarter fulfillment. Going from memory, they have fulfilled 50 of the Kickstarter pledges this weekend. So the first 50 presumably have gone out. I'm assuming things like having answered your survey factor into that. But 50 of the Kickstarter pledges have gone out. I'm assuming we'll see more over the next week. I talked about if you want to get your pledge at Grand Gathering 5 or have it mailed to you earlier. I wasn't sure which one would be faster. If they're going to be mailed out over the next few days, I'm assuming the mail will be faster. We will have to see. That's the brief Kickstarter update I have. We've had the match card for the next Super Mania announced. The next Super Mania will feature 3 old school matches. In the opening old school match, we'll have Scrapyard Cat versus Dickie Finesse. In the second match, we'll have the Above Average Warrior versus the Dive Bar Bard. And the main event of the next Supermania will be a tag team main event. It will be High Roller and Jean-Dre, the Gigantic Grenoble, versus the Unreal American Hunk Homeland and Nacho Guy. That is the next Supermania card coming in the next few months. This brings us to the Project Spider update. We initially received the following information. 4 competitors were promoted to World Division. Leader of the Black Sheep, the original Rising Sun, Spencer Vance, the Boatswain's Mate, and the winning tickets. 4 were demoted to Underworld. Candyman, the Heartache Kid, Johnny T, and Little Guido. 8 were promoted to Underworld. 64-Bit Casey, Sticky the Salamander Sailboat, Captain Bartholomew Hook, the Perfect Assistant, the new version of the Grim Librarian, Fey Dragon, Steel Wool, and the new version of Uncle Awesome. 8 were demoted from Underworld. The Fotista with the gimmick that involves drawing a card. The original EC3, Evie Laveau, the Mayor of Slamtown, Johnny Super Show, Kenny Omega, the New York Phenom, and Shane Hurricane Helms. But then there was a big twist. They have announced that the sizes of the World Division and Underworld Division are changing. The World Division up to this point had been 32 competitors, the Underworld 64. Going forward, the World Division will be 64 competitors, the Underworld only 32. As a result, the following competitors have been promoted from the Underworld Division to the World Division. 64-Bit Casey, Ring Admiral Grumpy Thunder, AJ Styles, the Bad Boy Joey Janela, Captain Bartholomew Hook, Candyman Dan, Sherry Von Danish, Colin the Chrononaut, the Kickstarter version of D2, El Super Santa, Father Light, General Manager John Calais, Gia de los Muertos, Grinch Pit, The Grump, Heartache Kid, Johnny T, Little Guido, Mac Attack, The Man from IT, Mimic, Mr. Snap, I believe that's the original Mr. Snap, Numero Uno, Raven, Sabu, Scott Prime, Sergeant Yoga, Sticky the Salamander Sailboat, the Tartan Terror, the original Theo the Greek Neo, and Zack Sabre Jr. All of those competitors now in World Division. With this change, it's also going to be possible going forward that competitors, if they earn enough points, can be promoted straight to the World Division. They won't have to go to Underworld first. They could go from being outside of the top 96 directly into the World Division. Only 4 competitors, it looks like, could have this happen to them per point earning period. With the changes in division, we've also had competitors earn their way into the Underworld Division, which means there's going to be a tournament for the people who helped get competitors elevated into the Underworld Division. Steel Wool, who's joining the Underworld Division, he was promoted mostly due to play by Bob Dunn, who's the Underworld General Manager, so he won't be in the tournaments. Here's who will be in the tournaments. For the Perfect Assistant, Ron Rumble will play as her in the Underworld Contender tournaments. For the new version of the Grim Librarian himself will play in the tournament. For Fey Dragon, HR will be playing her in the tournament. And 2 people are responsible for getting the new version of Uncle Awesome promoted, Zach Ashley and the Collector Sean Loeb. So they will both be in the tournament playing as Uncle Awesome. It'll be a round-robin tournament. Everyone will play everyone else. And then, based on the final standings, the Underworld General Manager, Bob Dunn, will award title shots to whoever he'd like to see get a title shot out of that group. Speaking of Bob Dunn awarding Underworld title shots, the current LFF Underworld Champion Brian Waitford Schmidt will be defending at Grand Gathering 5 against Candyman Dan. Candyman Dan has earned 2 shots at the LFF Underworld Championship. One with Sherry Von Danish, one with Eva Firecat. He's going to have to use both in this match. He's going to be giving up both matches. Here's how this will work. Candyman Dan will get a shot at the LFF Underworld Championship in a Ring of Fire match using Sherry Von Danish. If he loses, he will then get another shot immediately after the match in a standard singles match using Eva Firecat. If he wins his first match and becomes the LFF Underworld Champion with Sherry Von Danish, he will forfeit the second shot with Eva Firecat. So, no matter what happens at the end of Grand Gathering 5, Candyman Dan will have no shots at the LFF Underworld Championship. He will either be champion with Sherry Von Danish, champion with Eva Firecat, or the current champion, Brian Waitford Schmidt, will leave Grand Gathering 5 with 2 successful championship defenses. The next Project Spider update is going to be in early December, I believe, after PAX Unplugged. It was also unveiled after Sunday Night Fights on the SRG Universe Twitch channel that we are no longer going to be using Challenge for tournaments. There's a brand new app that they've already been using for Monday Night Fights and Chibi's Thursday Night Fights. They'll be using this for all convention tournaments, all online tournaments, all featured matches, matches on other Twitch channels like Big Picture Premium. It'll be the primary method for reporting matches. It'll be the primary source that Project Spider uses for data to determine who will be going up or being demoted from World Division or Underworld Division every time they have to make one of those decisions. I would recommend watching the last episode of Sunday Night Fights. They went through a lot of the functionality of this new website. The address for this website, supershow-scoring.lovable.app. That's the address that I have. I've been using that to get data about Monday Night Fights and Thursday Night Fights for quite a while now. They've really worked to make this app, this website, work. If you've noticed that I've reported about bullet rounds being used in a lot of the online tournaments, that's because the new website supports recording matches with bullet rounds. They will encourage you to create an account on this website because they are tracking not only competitor performance, but player performance through this. They went through on the stream on Twitch, they went through how the point system works for players, for competitors. They talked about things like teams functionality, a lot of very interesting things. I encourage you to check that out. They can go into it in much greater depth than I'll be able to with no visual aids on this podcast. So I encourage you, go check that out. Bob Dunn also talked about the interview that he and I did. That won't be on this show. I'm planning to release that interview likely Monday, September 8th. This episode will come out, and then the interview by itself will come out the day after. I think that makes the most sense. We didn't really get to go into the app a lot during the interview. We mostly talked about intentions for Project Spider. I think it's an interesting conversation. I think you might find it interesting too. Now, coming up for next week, we should have Monday Night Fights. We should have Dojo Tuesday night. We should have Talk of Universe Wednesday night. Dojo Tuesday, Talk of Universe Wednesday streamed on SRG Universe's Twitch channel. There may be an episode of Ignite on Big Picture Premium's Twitch channel. No guarantee as of right now. There should be Expanding the Universe Thursday, midday, on the SRG Universe Twitch channel. There should be Thursday night fights that night. Friday, we should have Candy Shop Talk streaming on Big Picture Premium's Twitch channel. And then next Sunday night fights, 2 matches on the match card. The Cookies Fortune finals of the World Division, finals of the Underworld Division, or the semifinals for the entire tournament. But each bracket's finals will be next Sunday night fights. And then, of course, looking forward, the next big thing, obviously, Grand Gathering 5, September 18th through September 21st. I will be there. I hope to see as many of you there as can make it. I'll do my best to cover it. I will try to get the show out on time. The show may be delayed a day. It may come out the Monday after Grand Gathering 5. With that being said, that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Outlaw Mudcast. I would like to thank all of you for listening, and good day.